want to live more sustainably but aren't sure where to start or how it fits in with your everyday living? The ReNewy Living Podcast simplifies sustainability so you can feel confident to take small, meaningful actions that fit into your lifestyle. Based on the lands of the Awabakal and Worimi people in Newcastle, Australia, you'll learn how to live lighter on our planet through practical ideas, stories from like-minded people, and examples of businesses doing great things. With an open heart and mind, join me, Marty Lee, as we explore how to consume less, build stronger community connections, and thrive in your neighbourhood, wherever you call home. Welcome to the ReNewy Living Podcast. Hello, I'm Marty Lee, and welcome to the ReNewy Living Podcast. Traditional deodorants and antiperspirants contain synthetic and artificial ingredients. In an effort to normalise real ingredients, we're talking about natural deodorants. These products leave out the highly synthesised and the fake stuff in favour of real natural ingredients and scents, giving you a deodorant that works all day, even if you've got sensitive skin. In this episode, I chat with Phoebe and Aaron Breckell, the founders of Woohoo Body. Based in Newcastle but known across the country, they've created a natural deodorant and skincare company that's making a big difference to the planet, giving you a healthy deodorant that works. Welcome, Phoebe and Aaron.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks for having us here.
You're very welcome. Now, you're a Newcastle-based business, and a lot of people don't realise that. I was in your shop yesterday, which is also your manufacturing site, and bumped into a customer who has been a long-term customer of yours, and she's only recently found out that you're here in Newcastle.
Yes, that is a story that we actually hear a little bit too often. Even though we've been a Newcastle business since back in 2010, there's still people who are just discovering that we're here. So obviously we need to do a little bit more local marketing. But yeah, we've regularly shipping orders 3 blocks away. So that's something that we are looking to change, and that's a part of the reason why we love coming on your podcast and getting in touch with some locals.
Well, it's really lovely to spread that word. I mean, I've been a big Woohoo customer for the last number of years, and I've tried, I think, all of your scents of the deodorants, which I absolutely love.
Thank you.
How did you get to that point, though? What's your beginning story?
Well, that does take us back a pretty long way, back to 2010, as I mentioned. We haven't always been a deodorant brand, actually. We started as a skincare brand. We were originally called Happy Skincare. And so we've been on a big roller coaster ride since then and have evolved into being the brand that we are today, Woohoo Body. But yeah, we got started in 2010 when each of our parents have small businesses, and both of us were in office jobs that we didn't love. And I was pregnant at the time. Aaron actually, without being a cosmetic chemist back then, he made a beautiful stretch mark cream for my belly, my growing belly, and I was feeling a bit yucky about myself, and he made this beautiful cream. And, you know, we both love health and wellness and making stuff like the creams, and I had a bit of an obsession at the time with sourdough breads and things like that. And so we thought it was just a very naive idea back then. We thought, let's try and make a skincare business and make a living out of this and support our new family by doing something that we love.
What a great start.
Yes, it was a naive start. We sort of thought we'll put this marvellous stretch mark cream in a bottle. Well, we actually thought we were originally call it the one cream because it was one cream that could do everything. That was the only product we'd ever need to make, and it would suit everyone and fix every problem and happily ever after. Well, that's not quite how the story goes.
No, it never is it? You started as skincare. You still offer a lot of skincare products, but it's the deodorant that you're more well known for these days. So how did you get into the shift with manufacturing and making deodorant?
The deodorant came into the picture around in 2015. The market at the time, the deodorant market, we did have a personal reason for creating the product, like our very first one cream.
I was actually on the hunt for a natural deodorant for myself because I couldn't use the supermarket aluminium antiperspirants, even the sensitive skin ones. They used to just break me out into a rash and cause itchiness. So I was on the hunt for something that I could use personally. And that led me into the world of looking at alternatives, started with alternative roll-ons, which didn't really work for me. And then in 2015, I heard about a paste brand, which is from the USA, called Schmidt's Deodorant, who's still around today. They were just starting to sell into Australia. Obviously, being in the skincare world, I looked into their formula and went, oh, how good's this? And so I got some and I used it, and I couldn't use it either. So I actually had a reaction to their product. And then I looked at the formula going, why am I reacting to it? Because it's meant to be all natural and wonderful, but still I couldn't use it, similar to the mass market brands as well. So looking at the formula, I delved down into it a bit further and sort of understood what possibly could have been going on with my reaction. And then when I can do that, I might be able to fix this issue for myself. And that's what led to our first natural deodorant paste, which was Urban in our range. So that first deodorant paste was built for me. And it was fragrance, not so much for me, but it was more of a general fragrance. Everyone could enjoy it. But that first deodorant paste was all built around something that I could use going forward. And that's how Yuwuhu came about, that first one. And then we sort of built from there. That then fell into people wanting it to be stronger, some people wanting it to be even more gentle on their skin. And then hence the range grew as we got more and more customer feedback and as the actual natural deodorant space started to grow as well. So very early on in the piece in the Australian market, and that allowed us to get ahead of the curve and get our products into stores very quickly once we had it up and running. But yeah, it sort of caught the wave very early on. And then through people also in the same position as I was, wanting to switch over, we had a product for them, and then the feedback then evolved our range as we have today.
I'm intrigued. What was that ingredient in the deodorant that you had a reaction to as to why you made your deodorant?
The supermarket brand, it was a combination of things in there. It was their preservative system combined with the aluminium in it, as well as some of the antibacterial agents, and it was fragrance free. So fragrance wasn't really an issue for that. But the other three sort of combinations, couldn't narrow it down to any singular one, but they're the top three culprits. In the natural deodorants, it was sodium bicarbonate. So that's the main deodorizing ingredient we use in a majority of our deodorants, but due to its alkaline nature, and it can be a little bit coarse to the skin as well, so that friction of applying over time combined with the alkalinity, which can reduce your skin's acid mantle, so it's a little bit too pH is too high for your skin, can cause dry skin under your armpits, and that friction under your arm combined with a little bit of abrasion breaks down the skin barrier, and that causes a skin reaction.
Right. So that's bicarb soda, did you say?
Correct.
Yeah.
Sodium bicarbonate or baking soda or bicarb soda, as a lot of people know it by.
So that's the main ingredient for a lot of your deodorants. Considering that you had a reaction to that, is there another base ingredient that you use?
Not going into too many of my little trade secrets here.
Of course not.
The two main ones I use are sodium bicarbonate and magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium is very similar to sodium bicarbonate, but it does have a higher pH than your skin, but it seems to be more gentle, and it reacts differently with your sweat as well. So it's not as soluble as sodium bicarbonate. Magnesium hydroxide is better for sensitive skin, but to reduce the amount we use, I combine them with other deodorizing actives as well. So it's a combination of 3 or 4 that I put together to give you that performance to stop body odor, but also trying to keep it as gentle as possible to your skin. And that's, again, why we have a range. There's all different varying balances between my deodorizing ingredients to make sure there's something for everybody.
Maybe we should take it back a step and actually chat about what it is that makes bicarb soda and magnesium hydroxide work as deodorizers. That might help understand a little bit better.
Yeah, that would be really great.
So the actual pH is actually what you need as well. So magnesium and the bicarb create an environment on your skin that doesn't allow bacteria to thrive. So bacteria, we all have it on our skin. It's very important to our skin. And as we sweat, your body releases fluid, water, and oils. And some of those oils contain hormones that we have, depending on what sort of stage of life, what age you are, stress. There's a whole bunch of factors that go into that. Those proteins and lipids in your sweat are food for bacteria, and certain bacteria will have different aromas. So as they break down those lipids and proteins, they then release odor, which is affected by a lot of various lifestyle factors. But using magnesium and bicarb soda and some of the other ones I use, it prevents an environment for that bacteria to proliferate. They're still there breaking down your sweat, but the ones that make you smell aren't quite there in enough numbers to create body odor.
It's kind of a balance of good bacteria and bad bacteria. So it's that getting the microbiome balance right and lessening the bad bacteria and allowing the good bacteria to thrive, which is a bit different to how like a traditional antiperspirant works, which often has antibacterial ingredients that kill off all of the bacteria and then uses the aluminium salts to block your pores and try and minimize sweating. So it kills the bacteria, whereas the natural deodorant will actually try and create an environment where the bacteria can't survive in the first place. It doesn't develop.
When you see often mainstream off-the-shelf spray, lots of fragrance products, they advertise it as a deodorant and an antiperspirant. And I think you've just clearly explained the difference.
Yeah, so deodorants stop the smell, antiperspirants stop the sweating. So in those ones that say antiperspirant and deodorant, they're actually doing two jobs. And depending on the strength of the fragrance, it's called as a masking agent. So if the bacteria is there releasing your aroma, then the fragrance of the product overrides that. So it's the strongest scent that you'll smell rather than your own body odor.
So is that one of those key differences between the deodorants that you produce to the mainstream spray deodorants that have got that antiperspirant deodorant and then all those other chemicals in them that do that job?
They are different. We do follow a similar sort of style, but it's the choices. Instead of using a synthetic fragrance, we use essential oils. So we still use essential oils, and that we also cover smells with masking. That's what helps the extra strength be extra strength. But we choose certain essential oils that have that ability to provide that aroma, but also have some of their own antibacterial properties in them as well. So it's like sort of getting a dual purpose out of the one ingredient then. So we sort of do the same sort of job, but how we go about it is slightly a little bit different.
Using essential oils is lovely. It's a very gentle smell. I am very sensitive to smells. In our household, we would say that we're a very low odour kind of household, and the smells in your deodorants are just gentle. They're lovely. They're manageable in the house, and no one else in the household needs to smell them like an aerosol. Oh, those fragrances are, oh my goodness, they're an easy trigger for migraines in our house, as well as the sneezes and the coughing and the itchy eyes.
That's one of the big guiding principles behind whenever we do develop a new scent is we never try and create a scent that is overpowering. Like even natural scents can be overpowering. And we have had feedback from our customers like yourself that have said, I love that I can wear my deodorant and it doesn't conflict with my perfume. I can still wear other scents if I choose to, or I can completely forget that I'm wearing anything. And the only time that you'll smell it is if you have a little bit of a cheeky sniff of your armpit just to make sure everything's in order. Our deodorants are not designed to give you a waft of aroma every time you walk past someone.
Our aromas are for you. They're not to be shared.
I love that. So when they talk about personal hygiene, it is really about personal hygiene.
Absolutely.
Many people don't actually believe that natural deodorants work. And it can be really hard for some people to make that brave switch to go from, I'll just say the aerosol deodorants, because that's the main thing on the market, or the roll-ons for females. How can they make the switch and get their mind that natural deodorants are really effective?
Personally, I've had natural deodorants that didn't work in the 2014 and 2015. They didn't work. They would last for 2-3 hours, which is okay, but you don't have to keep applying every 2 to 3 hours. And when looking at the formulas, they're very heavily alcohol-based, which is not an issue, but they can cause skin dryness. So I found they relied too heavily on essential oils and alcohol, which wore off too quickly. So yeah, they did work, but you didn't get longevity in it. So working with that, and that's sort of the mindset people still have, is those old school, very early on natural deodorants where things have evolved a lot in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
A lot. And cosmetic chemists and as the market's grown, formulas like myself have gotten better at understanding how it all works, and obviously getting ingredients out of ingredient manufacturers that actually help us create more effective products. So it's just understanding that products do work, but there can be an adjustment phase.
Tell us about the adjustment phase, Phoebe.
A lot of people refer to it as a detox period or a transition period where your body has to adjust to not being dependent on the aluminium in your antiperspirant anymore. And I guess it's that cycle of having the pores blocked with the aluminium salts, as well as using sort of strong antibacterials to kill off all the bacteria. When you're using an antiperspirant to do that daily, you become dependent on that antiperspirant. And when you first stop using it, you can smell really bad because that bad bacteria is just there in spades, and it can make you feel a little bit paranoid and like you can't stop using a deodorant. And so what needs to happen is you need to kind of push through that phase. You need to give your body a chance to sweat out everything that was in your pores, sweat off what was on your skin. Some people, the transition doesn't exist. Like they can go from using an antiperspirant one day to using a natural deodorant the next day and not miss a beat. And that's about, when we've surveyed our customers, that's about half of people can do that. But the other half of us might take a few days to do this detox or the pore cleansing. And other people, we've heard it can take a few weeks. And we've even met a few that it's taken a few months. But they've persisted, which amazing patients. We've been pretty wowed by the fact that they have persisted and they've gotten there in the end, and they've just said it's so worth it. I'm so glad I've finally made the switch to natural deodorants and I feel free now. But we do have an additional product called an armpit detox mask that can assist in that transition. It's a mask that has some lovely cleansing ingredients in it, and as well as some antibacterial ingredients and microbiome balancing. So the clays in the mask will help deep cleanse your pores and just sort of get you back to a nice clean state where we can start again and get your natural deodorant working really, really well.
Yeah, I did go through that same period. And I think for me, it was learning about how my sweat actually works. I figured out that I sweated in one armpit more than the other. Just one of those things. But it didn't take very long. But it was also nice to get rid of that bad bacteria and get back to your own natural body scent and have a deodorant that I know works. Also, what's really different about your deodorants is each deodorant stick is in a cardboard tube. How did that come about?
So we're already in the process of upgrading our packaging to more sustainable options. So the pastes originally were in polypropylene plastic. And then as we're developing the stick version of our deodorants, and the reason we're going into the sticks was we were getting feedback from people who didn't like getting the paste on their fingers, and they also didn't like rubbing it in under their armpits. Some people just don't like touching their armpits. So we needed to come up with an option that they could use natural deodorant, but in a different format. And Australia sticks weren't that popular, but they are quite popular. I think in the United States, stick deodorant is the number one form of deodorant sold. So to us, it made a business sense as well to move into a stick product. And I think of our own knowledge, someone may have beaten us, but I think we were the first stick natural deodorant in Australia. That can be debated probably, but it's the first one I know of.
Yeah.
And then through that development process, we needed to package it. And a lot of the options that we had available to us was just the current plastic stick packaging, which you find 99% of other stick deodorants in.
And it's very hard to recycle.
Yeah, it's because it's multiple plastics due to the way they work and the spindles in them that spin your deodorant up. And it's just through looking through suppliers and researching what other alternatives out there, we stumbled across a paper manufacturer that could actually make a paper tube that had a waxed paper inside that would house an oil-based product without leaking into the cardboard and ruining it. I was doing it for lip balms. So I reached out and said, can you make them bigger? They pretty much said, we can make whatever size you want. And that's how it started. So it began very, very early on. It was just a paper manufacturer that obviously saw the trend as well in packaging, and they developed a product, and no one had really adapted it yet for their products. So we jumped in straight away and did a few tests, and it all worked. It still has its challenges because it is cardboard. It's not as perfect as a plastic product, but it is quite user-friendly once you understand its little quirks.
I find it quite easy to use as well. Paper packaging for your deodorant sticks is one element of sustainable business practices for you. Another key one is you're Australian owned and more importantly, you're Australian made. So all of your deodorants and products are made right here in Newcastle. No outsourcing.
Yes, that's right.
That's something to be very, very proud of.
It's one of our biggest challenges, I guess, and one of our biggest proud moments as well, because there's a lot of factors that can push you to offshore things. The number one thing being the sheer cost of manufacturing in Australia. It really is, I think, a big obstacle to a lot of Australian businesses, but it is very important to us to keep everything local. And that's why we do everything in-house, all the way from R&D through to manufacturing and, you know, picking and packing the orders. All of our customer service team, everyone's in the warehouse in Newcastle.
Yeah, which is brilliant. And I had a visit to your site yesterday and went behind the scenes. And it was so lovely to meet your staff members who are there actually making the product.
Yes, they actually are. And they're an amazing bunch of people and we have lots of fun every day. Of course, we have our busy times where everyone can get a little bit caught up in the busyness, but we love to have downtime as well. And you probably saw us having a bit of a giggle yesterday about unicorn onesies and things like that, because we do like to have a little bit of fun recording stuff for the social media reels.
That's one element about your business, isn't it? Your brand is it's all about having fun, and deodorant doesn't have to be this boring thing. You can have a bit of fun with it.
Absolutely. People take their personal care routines very seriously, and we do too. We absolutely know that there is a serious aspect to your routine because we want you to have products that work, products that you can rely on, products that are kind to the environment and products that are healthy for you. Yeah, it should be fun to use as well.
I'd love to talk about the processing of making your deodorant, because when I was there yesterday, I was intrigued. So in this special product making room, there's this whole bunch of what I would call mix masters. But Aaron, would you like to talk about the process?
Yep. So at the moment, we're still a very manual process, just the way it's how the deodorants have developed and how we can control the quality of them is we do small batch manufacturing. So it's quite simple, just a big double boiler kettle. And then we melt all our waxes and add our powders and pretty much just have a very big mix-up. So think of your handheld blenders that you can have in your kitchen. We just have very big commercial size ones of those, which we use to then blend the ingredients. I think I was explaining to Marty yesterday was it's a challenge because your oil, it's all molten at the time. So it's all melted. It's all very free flowing, and having solid powders in that product sink to the bottom. So one of our biggest challenges is keeping those powders dispersed whilst we take it through the filling stage, which is all done manually at the moment. So we have manual filling machines that people have to pump by hand to fill the deodorants into their tubes, and then we freeze them. So we blast chill them to get them down to room temperature as fast as possible to solidify all the powders and all the any bacteria or the deodorizing ingredients in the stick uniformly throughout the whole lot. And then after that, as they come out of a freezer, they don't look that great. So then we have to then make them all look nice and smooth on top again. So these are quite a bit of a process that they have to go through, and it keeps all our staff very, very busy, and we do it every day.
And it was so great to see that there is a staff member there quality testing and controlling your products so that we can get the best product that you offer.
Yep. So every step of the way, every single deodorant is individually inspected before it gets a lid put on and put into a box and sent out.
Yeah. And as we grow, the more and more important the quality assurance becomes, because we don't want to fall into the trap of becoming busy and letting quality slip. Quality assurance is core to, as Aaron said, every step of the way. And we've got a quality assurance process that goes behind every batch and make sure that nothing goes out the door unless we're 100% happy with it.
You're not a trend business. You have been here for a long time, and yes, you are here to stay.
We are here to stay. And with Aaron's cosmetic chemistry experience, one thing that he's very passionate about, and I am too, is staying on the cutting edge of advancements in skincare and deodorant technology. We're always watching for new ingredients that are coming out that could possibly make our products better than ever before. We're not afraid of reformulating products that could be improved, even if it's a product that's been around for quite a few years. If there's an improvement that can be made because of a new type of emulsifier or a different type of preservative, we're definitely up for giving that a try and always continuing to improve and evolve.
Sourcing products is something that you really look seriously into as well. So for you, it's like you've got to make sure that product is available in order for you to make your deodorant.
Yeah, Aaron does all of our ingredient sourcing, and ingredient sourcing is quite a big challenge actually, because most of the ingredients are actually imported via distributors who are local, but often come from Europe, America and Asia. Australia is a really small market really for cosmetics manufacturing compared to all of those other countries, and getting all those ingredients here to Australia can be expensive, and it can be difficult in terms of actually getting the product availability.
Australia is a small cosmetic market and we're a small cosmetic business. So we've got two smalls going against us at once. So the suppliers over in Europe and the USA, they see our small orders, even though they're big to us, as a hassle really. So getting the stock allocated to be shipped from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere can be a challenge, because they've got local customers who are easier to service than it is to service someone in Australia. So sometimes you get pushed to the back of the line, which means you just have to wait a little bit longer. As things get popular, you run out of stock and then you're sort of holding and waiting for that shipment to arrive. I think I just had, as you were there, Marty, we just had an ingredient arrive that had a bit of a delay on it because we couldn't get it, then we could get it, and then they said we could get it. There's a lot of toing and froing. And we thought we were going to have to reformulate because they weren't going to supply it anymore. And then in the end, they come through and we finally got it after about 2.5 months. So we can start manufacturing another product again. It's just one of those things. It's just a constant battle, and it's a lot of relationship building sometimes with the suppliers. We're not the only ones who've come up against it in Australia. It's just the reality of doing business in Australia.
It's also great to know the challenges that happen when you have a product, like that story of what goes on behind the product, because often as a customer, we don't get to see that or hear about that. And Phoebe, like we were talking yesterday as well, that the majority of your customers come through via your website, which is super.
Yeah, it is. It's actually something that we're very, very proud of as well. I think it would be 70% maybe of our customers that are purchasing via our website. Our website's kind of our baby, and we treat that almost as an extension of ourselves. And we try and not be one of those faceless brands that doesn't have people behind it. We really try and communicate who Woohoo is and let people get to know Aaron and myself and the whole team behind Woohoo, because that can sometimes be lost online. We just try and use our website as a way to engage with our customers and really educate people as much as possible as well. We try to be super transparent about ingredients and, like you said, like stock availability and things like that. We'll communicate all of that as clearly as we can on the website. We also have our Facebook group, the Woohoo Crew, which we use to communicate all these kinds of ups and downs, and mostly ups, of the skincare manufacturing world, and let people in on behind the scenes of all of our manufacturing processes. And that's lots of fun as well. We get lots of people involved that way. So digitally, we can still do a lot of connecting with our customers and, give people a stellar customer service experience, because that's what we'd like Woohoo to be known for.
Yeah, and stellar customer service experience, which expands into, if anyone has a question, they're contacting and phoning and speaking to you and your crew, who are highly knowledgeable about your products.
Yes, we do work very hard to make sure our customers feel like a part of the Woohoo family. As I mentioned, our customer service team, I call us a team, but we are just a few of us. It's myself, Jen and Carrie Ann. So if you've dealt with the customer service team, you probably know one of us. And if you have any questions or comments or anything, all you need to do is email in or call in and you'll speak to a real human being in Newcastle. We get to share our knowledge of skincare and all things Woohoo with you. And answer any questions in person. And that's something that we don't get to do if people are just shopping for our products on, in pharmacies or in health food stores and things like that. We absolutely 100% support our stockists who carry our products in their stores, but we do appreciate the fact that they can't always be experts in every single product that they stock. So we do love being able to give personalised one-on-one advice to anyone who needs help if they do make it into our store in Adamstown.
On your website, you've got lots of labels of recognition. You've got the Clean and Conscious Awards as a winner from 2024. There's 1% for the planet, and there's Made Safe. What would you like to talk about that would really help us understand why you're getting so many awards?
Oh, well, our Clean and Conscious Awards, they mean a lot to us, like a lot, because the Clean and Conscious Awards, a huge amount goes into producing those every year, and they're Australian, and to me, they're one of the Australian awards that carry the most credibility. The judging panels are just people who really know their stuff, and so many brands are evaluated. And so it does make us very proud to win prizes from them. The products of ours that got some recent accolades were our lip balm. Our lip balm has just been a big hit with them and all of the Clean and Conscious community and Australia-wide. Our Pop deodorant stick, that won some awards last year, as well as the most exciting one for me is our natural shampoo, which won Best Natural Shampoo most recently. And yeah, that's a product that's very dear to us because it took us over a year to formulate, and there was over 100 formulas that Aaron was in his R&D lab tinkering away, and then he'd come out, and our development process is quite fun actually. All the ladies in the office and occasionally the one other guy in the office, but he's not really into the shampoo testing. Aaron will go away into his lab and create a new sample and give us all a bottle, and we'll all go away and wash our hair, and we'll either thumbs up or thumbs down it and give him the feedback. And I guess it would have been a real challenge for Aaron having no hair to formulate an awesome shampoo. So our testing process was very key. So I guess us as testers, we can take all the credit.
Yeah. Oh, that is so exciting. Because you've got hair that's similar to me. It's got quite a bit of curl to it as well, yes. And is quite, I find when you've got curly hair, your hair is very specific. It tells you quite clearly whether it likes that product or not. For Aaron to develop a shampoo that your hair loves, that's even more important.
Oh, well, I don't think I was the hardest one in the office either. I think some other people provided more challenges than I did. We got there in the end, though.
Well, we had all hair types, which was covered, and yeah, they were brutal in their feedback.
You've got to be.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You have to be brutal in order to provide a really good product.
Absolutely. But yes, the awards are one part of all the badges on our website, but we also do back up our products with accreditations that just give people an extra measure of trust that we're doing the right thing when we're formulating our products. Our products are certified vegan and cruelty-free, Australian made and owned, and being plastic negative is one that we also are very proud of. That means that we basically help fund the removal of twice as much plastic as our business consumes from the environment. And so that includes packaging that we output in our products, as well as any downstream plastic that we use in our manufacturing processes and things like that. That said, the packaging we actually use in our products is minimal because our deodorants are all plastic free, and our skincare is packaged in aluminium bottles with just the plastic is the pumps and the sprayers, and we give people refill options to avoid repurchasing those all the time too. And also we're members of 1% of the planet for the planet, which means that we donate 1% of our profits to planet-based charities. Some of our favourites are Oz Harvest and Thread Together and the Humane Society International Australia.
All very good and worthwhile organisations.
Absolutely.
If people would like to actually purchase your products, what's your website? What's your details?
You can find us at woohoobody.com.au or on the socials at woohoobody. We have a special sign-up discount code for anyone who's a new customer. So if you'd like to head over to the website and sign up to our email communications, there's a 20% discount waiting for you.
Yay, you got to do that one. In addition to online, because also online you can order and then have a free collect.
Absolutely. You can click and collect, or you can just come into the store and we've got a big tester table set up where you can try all the different skin, hair and deodorant products, smell everything and feel everything for yourself. So we are in Adamstown and we're in a little industrial estate, and the address is Unit 12 of 75 Bailey Street in Adamstown. So we'd love to come and have some Newcastle people come and meet us.
Oh, look, to everyone, I can vouch, like this is not a sponsored post at all, but I can absolutely vouch for the deodorant products of Woohoo Body.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and thank you so much to Phoebe and Aaron for sharing their insights and their expertise into creating a really quality Australian-made natural deodorant. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the ReNewy Living Podcast. I hope you're feeling more confident about taking a localised and actionable approach to living sustainably. If this episode has inspired you to take simple action, please follow the ReNewy Living Podcast so you can catch every episode. We'd love it if you could share this episode with your friends. It's a great way to spread the word and help more people join the conversation about living sustainably. You can even send me an email with the episode that really made it for you. Hearing your positive actions for change helps me understand how these stories work within our shared communities. Head over to my website, renewyliving.com.au, for the show notes and blog posts from this episode. I look forward to sharing more stories from the people of Newcastle as we delve into our community's diverse social and environmental practices for positive planetary change from a localised perspective.